He didn't know her name. He didn't ask questions. She was dying on the ground outside his workshop, and he had 10 seconds to decide. So he grabbed the small blue can from his toolbox, tilted her head back, and sprayed it into her mouth. The crowd gasped. She coughed, her eyes opened. And that's when everything fell apart, because saving her life was the worst mistake he ever made. 10 minutes ago, Chinedu was just a mechanic trying to fix an old engine. Now phones were pointing at him, voices were whispering, and the woman in the white dress, the one whose life he just saved, was staring at him with something that looked like terror. He didn't know it yet, but that spray, that touch, that moment of mercy would cost him everything. To understand how one good deed destroyed an innocent man, you need to know what happened that morning in Lagos. Welcome to The Story Griot. If you're watching from the United States, England, Germany, South Africa, or anywhere in Africa, drop a comment and let me know. Hit that subscribe button. It helps the algorithm bring you more stories like this. Now let's begin. The sun was brutal that Tuesday morning. Chinedu wiped the sweat from his forehead with the back of his hand, leaving a black streak of engine grease across his skin. His small mechanic shop sat on the edge of a busy Lagos road, squeezed between a fruit vendor and a phone repair kiosk. He was 28 years old, honest, hardworking, invisible. Most days he barely made enough money to pay rent and send his younger sister, Amara, to school, but he never complained. Work was work. And dignity, his father used to say, wasn't about how much you earned, it was about how you earned it. Chinedu was bent over the hood of an old Toyota, adjusting a carburetor when he heard it. Tires screeching. He looked up just in time to see a sleek black SUV swerve violently toward the curb. The engine roared. Brakes screamed. The vehicle stopped inches from a lamppost. Chinedu froze. The driver's door flew open. A man in a black suit stumbled out, shouting into his phone. "Madam! Madam, wait! Don't move!" But it was too late. The back door opened. A woman stepped out. She was wearing a long white dress that looked like it cost more than Chinedu made in 6 months. Her skin glowed under the harsh sunlight. Gold jewelry hung from her wrists and neck. Everything about her screamed wealth. But something was wrong. She took 2 steps forward, then stopped. Her hand flew to her throat. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Chinedu's chest tightened. He had seen this before. The woman staggered. Her legs buckled, and then right there in the middle of the street, she collapsed. The driver screamed, "Somebody help! Please! She can't breathe!" People gathered. Phones came out. Voices rose, but no one moved. Chinedu's heart pounded in his chest. He looked at the woman lying on the hot pavement, her chest heaving, her lips turning pale. He thought of Amara, his little sister, the day she nearly died from an asthma attack in his arms. The memory hit him like a punch. He didn't think. He ran. His boots pounded against the concrete as he sprinted toward her. The crowd parted. Whispers followed him. "Who is that? What is he doing?" Chinedu dropped to his knees beside the woman. Her eyes were half open, unfocused, terrified. He had seconds, maybe less. And that's when Chinedu made the decision that would ruin his life. Chinedu's hands were shaking. The woman's chest was barely moving. Her lips had turned blue. Foam gathered at the corners of her mouth. Anaphylactic shock. He knew the signs. He had learned them the hard way. 2 years ago, his sister Amara had eaten groundnuts at a birthday party. Within minutes, her throat had closed up. She couldn't breathe, couldn't speak. Her eyes had filled with panic as she clawed at her neck. Chinedu had carried her on his back and run 6 blocks to the nearest hospital. The doctor saved her life with a single spray, epinephrine, fast-acting, life-saving. Before they left, the doctor had handed Chinedu a small blue aerosol can. "Keep this with you," the doctor had said. "You never know when someone might need it." Chinedu had kept it in his toolbox ever since. And now, staring down at this dying woman, he knew what he had to do. "Move back!" he shouted at the crowd. He ran to his workshop. His fingers fumbled through the toolbox, wrenches, bolts, screws, until they closed around the small blue can. He sprinted back. The driver was on his knees, crying. "Madam, madam, please, don't die!" Chinedu pushed him aside. "I can help her, trust me." The driver stared at him with wild, desperate eyes. "Do something! Anything!" Chinedu knelt beside the woman. He tilted her head back gently, opened her mouth, and pressed the nozzle of the spray between her lips. "One spray! Two!" The crowd held its breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the woman's body convulsed. Her back arched. Her chest heaved. And suddenly she gasped. Air rushed into her lungs. Her eyes flew open. She coughed violently, rolling onto her side. The crowd erupted. "She's alive! He saved her!" Chinedu sat back on his heels, his heart racing. Relief flooded through him. The woman blinked slowly, her breathing still ragged. She looked up at him with confusion in her eyes. "You're okay," Chinedu said softly. "You're going to be okay." But even as he said it, he noticed something strange. The way people were staring at him. Not with gratitude, with shock, with fear. The driver stood up slowly, his face pale. He looked at Chinedu, then at the woman, then back at Chinedu. "Do you know who she is?" the driver whispered. Chinedu shook his head. The driver's voice trembled. "That's Chief Okafor's wife." And in that moment, everything changed. The name hit Chinedu like a slap. Chief Okafor. Everyone in Lagos knew that name. Chief Okafor owned half the city. Construction companies, hotels, politicians. He controlled everything and everyone. People whispered that he had connections all the way to the presidency. And the most dangerous thing about Chief Okafor? He didn't forgive. Chinedu looked down at the woman, Gloria Okafor, still gasping for air on the ground. Her white dress was stained with dirt. Her jewelry sparkled in the harsh sunlight. She looked up at him, her eyes wide and unfocused. "Thank you," she whispered. But her voice didn't sound grateful. It sounded afraid. The driver pulled out his phone and made a call. "Sir, there's been an incident. Madam collapsed. A mechanic. He touched her. He sprayed something in her mouth. She's awake now, but—" Chinedu's stomach twisted. Touched her. That's what the driver said. Not saved her. Not rescued her. Touched her. The crowd was growing. More phones were out now, recording. Chinedu could hear the whispers spreading like wildfire. "Did you see what he did?" He put his hands on Chief's wife. "That man is finished." Chinedu tried to stand, but his legs felt weak. "I was helping her. She couldn't breathe. "Step back," the driver said coldly. "Don't touch her again." A man in the crowd laughed bitterly. "That boy doesn't know what he just did. Chief Okafor will destroy him." Another voice added, "I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. Not for all the money in the world." Chinedu's heart pounded. "I saved her life. She was dying." "Doesn't matter," an older woman said, shaking her head. "You're a nobody. She's a queen, and you put your hands on her." Gloria was sitting up now, supported by the driver. She looked at Chinedu one more time. Her lips parted as if she wanted to say something, but she didn't. She just looked away. The driver helped her into the SUV. The door slammed shut. The engine roared to life. And just like that, they were gone. Chinedu stood alone in the middle of the street, surrounded by strangers with their phones still recording. He looked down at his hands. The small blue can was still clutched in his fingers. He had saved a woman's life. But as he looked at the faces around him, cold, judgmental, amused, he realized something terrible. No one cared about the truth. They only cared about the story, and the story they were telling wasn't his. Chinedu couldn't sleep that night. He lay on his thin mattress in the small room behind his workshop, staring at the ceiling. The fan above him squeaked with every rotation. His mind kept replaying the scene. The woman collapsing. The spray! Her eyes opening. The crowd's whispers. "You're finished." He tried to convince himself it would blow over. People would forget. Life would go back to normal. But deep down, he knew better. Around midnight, his phone buzzed. It was Emeka, his childhood friend. "Chinedu, we need to talk now." 20 minutes later, Emeka arrived at the workshop, breathless and sweating. He didn't even wait for Chinedu to speak. "Have you seen it?" Emeka asked, shoving his phone into Chinedu's face. On the screen was a video. Chinedu recognized it immediately. It was him, kneeling over Gloria Okafor, spraying something into her mouth. But the caption beneath the video made his blood run cold. "Mechanic assaults Chief Okafor's wife while she's unconscious." Shocking footage. The video had over 200,000 views. The comments were worse. He should be arrested. This is why women aren't safe. Chief Okafor will kill him. Chinedu's hands trembled. This isn't what happened. I saved her life. I know that, Emeka said urgently. But it doesn't matter. Look at the video. It's been edited. They cut out the part where she was dying. They cut out the part where she woke up. All people see is you putting your hands on her. But she thanked me, Chinedu protested. Did she say it on camera? Emeka asked. Chinedu fell silent. Emeka grabbed his shoulders. Listen to me. Chief Okafor is powerful, dangerous, and now the whole country thinks you assaulted his wife. You need to leave Lagos. Tonight. Leave? Chinedu's voice rose. I didn't do anything wrong. The truth will come out. Gloria will tell them what really happened. Emeka laughed bitterly. You think Chief's wife will defend a poor mechanic? You think she'll go against her husband for you? Chinedu wanted to argue, but the words wouldn't come, because somewhere deep inside he knew Emeka was right. I can't leave, Chinedu said quietly. Amara's school fees are due next week. If I run, I lose everything. Emeka stared at him for a long moment. Then he shook his head. If you stay, you'll lose more than everything. He turned and walked toward the door. I'm your friend, Chinedu, but I can't protect you from this. And then he was gone. Chinedu sat alone in the dark, clutching his phone. The video played on repeat, and with every view, his world grew smaller. 2 days passed. Chinedu tried to work, tried to pretend everything was normal. But customers stopped coming. People crossed the street when they saw him. Even the fruit vendor next door wouldn't look him in the eye. The video had spread everywhere. On the third morning, Chinedu was organizing his tools when he heard footsteps behind him. He turned around. 2 police officers stood in the doorway. Chinedu Obi? The taller one asked. Chinedu's throat went dry. Yes. You need to come with us. Just some questions. It wasn't a request. The police station smelled like sweat and old paper. They led Chinedu into a small interrogation room with concrete walls and a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. He sat down. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. The door opened. A senior officer walked in carrying a folder. He didn't smile. Tell me what happened, the officer said. Chinedu explained everything, the woman collapsing, the spray, how he saved her life. The officer listened without expression. What was in the spray? He asked. Epinephrine. It's medicine. For allergic reactions. Why did you have it? My sister almost died 2 years ago. A doctor gave it to me. He said to keep it in case of emergencies. The officer leaned forward. Did you touch Mrs. Okafor inappropriately? No, Chinedu's voice cracked. She was dying. I was trying to help her. There's a video that shows you putting your hands on her while she was unconscious. Because I was saving her life. The officer's eyes narrowed. Mrs. Okafor hasn't made a statement. She hasn't confirmed your version of events. Chinedu felt his chest tighten. She will. When she talks to you, she'll tell you the truth. The officer closed the folder. Chief Okafor is a very important man, very powerful. If his wife doesn't wake up and defend you, this becomes a very serious case. She's already awake. I saw her sit up. I heard her thank me. Did anyone else hear that? Chinedu opened his mouth, then closed it. No one had. The officer stood up. We're releasing you for now, but don't leave Lagos. And if Chief Okafor files a complaint, you'll be arrested immediately. They let him go 3 hours later. Chinedu walked out of the station into the bright afternoon sun. His legs felt weak. His mind was spinning. He pulled out his phone. 12 missed calls, all from his sister, Amara. Brother, please call me. People are saying terrible things about you. Is it true? Chinedu stared at the message. His hands were still shaking. And somewhere across the city, in a mansion he would never enter, Gloria Okafor was choosing her silence over his freedom. 4 days after the incident, Chinedu's phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Hello? A woman's voice, soft, nervous. Mr. Chinedu? He froze. This is Gloria Okafor. His heart stopped. I've been wanting to reach you, she said quietly. I need to see you, to thank you properly. Chinedu didn't know what to say. You don't have to. Please, she interrupted. I know what people are saying. I know what the video looks like. But I remember everything. You saved my life. and I want to make this right. Hope surged through him. Will you tell the police? Will you tell them the truth? There was a pause. Yes, she said finally. But I need to explain everything to you first, face to face. My husband doesn't know I'm calling you. Can we meet? Tomorrow evening? I'll send a car to pick you up. Chinedu's mind raced. This was it. This was his chance to clear his name. Okay, he said. Where? The driver will bring you to me. Come alone, please. This has to stay private. She hung up. Chinedu stared at his phone. Relief washed over him. She was going to tell the truth. That night, he told Emeka about the call. Emeka's face went pale. Don't go, he said immediately. What? Why not? Chinedu, think. Why would Chief Okafor's wife call you in secret? Why would she ask you to come alone? Why wouldn't she just make a public statement? Because she's scared of her husband. Exactly, Emeka shouted. She's scared of him, which means this is a trap. Chief wants to deal with you quietly, away from cameras, away from witnesses. Chinedu shook his head. You're being paranoid. She thanked me. I heard her. That was before the video went viral, before her husband got involved. Things are different now. I have to go, Emeka. If I don't, I'll never clear my name. Emeka grabbed his arm. If you go, you might not come back. But Chinedu had already made up his mind. The next evening, a black car arrived at his workshop. The driver didn't speak, didn't even look at him. They drove for 40 minutes, past the busy streets of Lagos, into a quiet neighborhood with tall gates and armed guards. The car stopped in front of a massive estate. Chinedu was led inside. Through a long hallway, past expensive paintings and marble floors, into a large sitting room. And there, sitting in a leather chair, was Chief Okafor. Not Gloria. The chief smiled coldly. So you're the mechanic who thinks he can touch my wife? Chinedu's blood turned to ice. Chief Okafor was a large man, 50 years old, expensive suit, gold rings on every finger. His eyes were dark and sharp, like a predator watching prey. Sit down, the chief said. Chinedu didn't move. I said sit. 2 men appeared from the shadows, big, silent. They pushed Chinedu into a chair. The chief leaned forward. Do you know what you've done? I saved your wife's life, Chinedu said, his voice shaking. The chief laughed. It was a cold, bitter sound. You put your hands on her. You sprayed something in her mouth. You touched her while she was unconscious. And the whole country watched. She was dying. I had no choice. There's always a choice, the chief said. You could have called an ambulance. You could have waited for a doctor. But instead, you decided to play hero. She didn't have time. If I hadn't acted, she would have died. The chief's smile faded. My wife's reputation is damaged. My family's honor is damaged. And all because a nobody mechanic decided to be a good Samaritan. Chinedu's hands clenched into fists. Where is she? Where is Gloria? Let me talk to her. Why would I do that? Because she knows the truth. The door opened. Gloria walked in. She looked different, smaller. Her eyes were red like she'd been crying. She wore a simple dress, no jewelry, no makeup. She didn't look at Chinedu. Tell him, Chinedu said desperately. Tell him what really happened. Tell him I saved your life. Gloria stood there silent. Tell him, Chinedu shouted. The chief raised his hand. My wife has already told me everything. She said you were there when she collapsed, that you sprayed something in her mouth, that she woke up confused and frightened. That's not the whole story. Chinedu turned to Gloria. You thanked me. I heard you. You said thank you. Gloria's lips trembled. She opened her mouth. But no words came out. The chief stood up. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to disappear, quietly, leave Lagos, change your name, and never speak about this again. And if I don't? The chief's smile returned. Then I'll make sure you spend the rest of your life in prison. Or worse. Chinedu looked at Gloria one last time. She was crying now, silent tears running down her face. But she still wouldn't speak. And in that moment, Chinedu understood. The powerful always win, and the truth dies in silence. The chief's men grabbed Chinedu by the arms. Take him out through the back, Chief Okafor said. Make sure no one sees him leave. They dragged Chinedu toward the door. His mind was screaming. His heart was pounding. This couldn't be how it ended. Wait! Gloria's voice. Everyone froze. She took a step forward. Her whole body was shaking. I need to say something. The chief's eyes narrowed. Gloria, go upstairs. No. Her voice was stronger now. I need to tell the truth. Chinedu's chest tightened with hope. Gloria looked at her husband. He saved my life. I was dying. I couldn't breathe. And he brought me back. The chief's jaw clenched. We've already discussed this. You discussed it, Gloria said. I stayed silent. But I can't anymore. She turned to Chinedu. I'm sorry. I should have defended you from the beginning. I was afraid of what people would say. Afraid of my husband. But you risked everything to save a stranger. And I repaid you with silence. The chief stood up. Gloria, think about what you're doing. I already have. Suddenly, Gloria's legs buckled. She gasped, clutching her throat. It was happening again. No, the chief shouted. Gloria collapsed to the floor, her body convulsing. Her lips were turning blue. The chief's men stood frozen, helpless. Do something! The chief screamed. Chinedu broke free from the guards and ran to her. He dropped to his knees. Get me epinephrine. Now! He shouted. We don't have any, one of the guards said. Then she dies, Chinedu said coldly. The chief stared at him. For the first time, fear flashed across his face. Save her, he whispered. Please. Chinedu pulled the small blue can from his pocket. He always carried it now. He sprayed it into Gloria's mouth. One spray. 2, she gasped. Her eyes opened. Air rushed back into her lungs. The room was silent. Gloria sat up slowly. She looked at Chinedu, then at her husband. He saved me, she said, her voice hoarse but clear. Twice, and I will tell the world the truth. The chief said nothing. His face was pale. His power, for once, meant nothing. 3 days later, Gloria held a press conference. She told the entire country what really happened. The video evidence was examined. Experts confirmed Chinedu's story. The accusations disappeared. Chief Okafor's reputation crumbled. But Chinedu didn't stay in Lagos. He took Amara and moved to a small town up north. Away from the noise, away from the cameras, he opened another workshop. And every morning he still carried that small blue can in his pocket, because some people are worth saving, even when the world tells you they're not. Friend, thank you for staying with me to the very end. This story reminds us that doing the right thing isn't always easy. Sometimes it costs everything. But the truth always finds a way to surface. If you believe that courage means standing up even when you're afraid, then please tap that subscribe button and join our community here at the Story Griot. I've picked out another powerful story. Just for you, you should see it on your screen now. Until next time, remember, your reputation is built on your actions, not on what people say about you. I hope to see you in the next story.